Hello, everybody, and welcome to another presentation by the Amicable Divorce Network. My name is Tracy Moore Grant. I'm the founder of the Amicable Divorce Network, and today we are joined by Stephen Bradley, who many people know, but if you don't, he is a technology specialist with Our Family Wizard. What brings him to this topic today is he's former FBI, all sorts of bells and whistles, has lots of stories. A lot of them are very scary. In the realm of technology. I'll let him do a better job of introducing himself, but he is going to be talking to us today about the weaponization of technology in family law. And if you have dabbled in family law for even 30 minutes of your career, you've probably seen some of these issues come up. And I've seen him do this presentation on an annual basis, and it is always changing. Because technology is always changing and even getting scarier and more advanced. So I'm going to turn it over to Stephen.
Thank you, Tracy. And thank you, everyone, for giving up your afternoon or your lunch hour, I should say, or yes, a little bit longer there, to talk about this topic. This topic is something that's very important that, unfortunately, we don't get a lot of discussion about. And as Tracy mentioned, this is an ever-changing topic. This technology changes by the minute, sometimes by the day. So we have to do our best to stay on top of a lot of this technology. So a lot of the technologies we're going to talk about, a lot of things we're going to talk about here to this presentation are actual cases I've worked, things I've actually seen. There's no hypotheticals, no conspiracy theories, no what-if scenarios. This is what we're actually seeing and what you may have already seen come before you by one of your clients or litigants by chance, depending on your role. Also, this presentation is probably going to be just as much personal as it is professional. And the reason why is because we all carry cell phones everywhere we go. We all work with technology. Not only do we do that, our loved ones do it as well. We have smart TVs in our home. We have Alexas. We have Ring doorbells. We have all this cool tech tools and tech toys that are being used today to possibly create or change outcomes of cases or cause harm to individuals. So let's jump into this. So why do we care about technology? Why is this something now we have to worry about? When we went to law school or we became a mental health provider, again, whatever your role may be, we had no aspirations of being an IT tech person, but unfortunately today, 99% of all court cases involve some form of technology, whether it be social media, text messages, online dating, hell, e-filing is part of technology. Everything we do, Zoom is technology. Everything has some type of a need and a want to do there. One thing we have to remember when it comes to technology-related crimes, there's often a big misconception that these offenders have a computer background. I say less than 10% have any kind of computer background at all. They're not IT experts, Best Buy Geek Squad members. These are simply people or keyboard warriors, as I call them. They can Google, how do I stalk my partner, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my dog? You'll be amazed at what pops up. There's YouTube videos on how to do it step by step and how to evade law enforcement. There's websites like Reddit. I get a lot of information from Reddit because I can sit there and watch these offenders empower each other. Go up to the top and type in domestic violence. You'll see, hey, I got arrested for domestic abuse. How do I get these charges dropped against me? You'll see some other clown be like, hey, this works in my case, maybe it'll work in your case. So they literally will empower each other through the whole process. So they're not any kind of, geniuses by any means or any stretch of the imagination. The other point I want to make is cyber-related crimes are often made out to be a mental health crisis. She's crazy. He's crazy. There's no way possibly I could do that. Yeah, because at one point you actually were in love. You might have liked each other at least. But I know what high school you went to. I know what your favorite sporting team is, your favorite color. If I can answer your security questions to your accounts, I may still be able to get access to those accounts. I'll give you an example. I worked a case down in South Florida one time where CPS was involved, DCF, Department of Children and Family Services. And they were scheduled to do a home study on a Saturday morning. Well, the offender, actually the father in the case, he contacted the utility company and used a voice changing program that I'm going to show you later, changed his voice from male to female, answered security questions, and had her power and utilities turned off at 4:30 p.m. on a Friday afternoon, saying she was moving out of town. So now that when DCF and child welfare shows up the next day for a home study to make sure the toilet's flush, there's power, How do you think that case went? That's a manipulation we see, and that's why this happens. Technology is not evil. Technology is not the problem. Technology is a tool. Stalking's been around for generations. But again, when it comes to stalking, a lot of us have a misconceived notion that it has to involve this physical act of following somebody, this physical act of doing something, or a threat. I have to threaten your life or cause this, whole threatening type behavior. And that's not so today. Cool thing about most people, I'm looking around at these different faces, is we grew up in an amazing generation. When I say that is for other reasons too, but when it comes to technology, for sure. But we had dial-up internet. We had DSL and cable. We have now gigabit, gigaspeed stuff. We had pagers. We had the cell phones that were like car batteries. And we had the dreaded bag phone. And then we have the smartphone now, came out in 2007. So we've grown through technology, as we move forward. But unfortunately, when we're working with our clients, some of our clients may come from a younger generation that was born with literally technology in their hands. Even though we grew up through technology, they're much more advanced than we ever will be. So these clients will come to you and they'll say something really off the wall like, hey, he's got a pineapple, he's got a rubber ducky. And you're like, what? Why am I worried about a rubber ducky? Ask the question, why are you concerned about rubber duckies? Rubber ducky is actually a program or a script that's very, very harmful. I'm going to show you actually how it works, how I get access to every single one of you, your personal confidential client files, your banking accounts, your escrow accounts, and you'll never know I'm actually doing that just by simply sending you a message. Technology is also known as the silent witness, because again, it's everywhere we are today. 99% of cases I mentioned are part of technology. But when it comes to technology, one thing you have to understand is it's not just one form of technology. It's not just text messages or emails or social media. It can be a conjunction of several types of technologies that come together. Now, I'm about to show you some tools of what I mean. Also, there's people out there, parties out there say that technology is just circumstantial evidence. And that's not true, because majority of the people, the vast majority will say, no, this is absolutely compelling. The reason why we have so much access to evidence or potential harm or danger is because today we have more tools and toys that will connect to the internet than we ever have before in our history. Here's some examples of what I mean. Our smart cars, our refrigerators. Yes, your refrigerator will tell you when to buy milk now. These Ring doorbells, these video doorbells type systems, these Apple Watches, Garmin's, Fitbits, different types of wearable technologies. Sneakers. Yes, there's running shoes that have GPS things built into them that tracks your run if you're like a marathon, type runner. Gaming consoles, online gaming. Do you really know who you're talking to? Online, I guess, again, I'm going to show you a program where I can become a 13-year-old girl very, very quickly. And I'm much older than 13 and I'm not a girl. Coffee makers, pacemakers. I worked a case one time where this guy's house caught on fire at 1:30 in the morning. And his claims were he jumped out of a 2-story bedroom window in order to save his life. Well, we found out during the investigation that he had a pacemaker. So once we pulled the heart rhythm data off of that pacemaker, we showed there was no anomalies that night at all. In fact, there's no anomalies that week. It shows that he would have jumped out of a 2-story window. With that evidence, he's able to get him to confess that he burned his house down for insurance fraud, insurance money. Your Roomba vacuum cleaner. So you're like, oh, come on. Now this is getting out of hand. Your Roomba, my vacuum, really? Well, let's talk about that for a minute. So every time we download an app, a companion app that goes with all these things we have. So all these internet things, our Ring doorbell, our TV, whatever it may be, they all come with an app that goes along with them, including your Roomba vacuum cleaner. Well, when we download that information, it looks like this. We go to the App Store, we download this, but all this verbiage on the right-hand side that pops up that nobody ever reads, this is basically saying that if you download this app and you say accept, I'm going to do all these horrible things to you. I'm gonna collect all your data. I'm gonna do all kinds of things without you really knowing because you gave me permission to do so, including take pictures of you sitting on the toilet. Yes, this is from MIT, came out last week or 2 weeks ago rather, where there's now reports of this new i7 robot that we all just paid $800 for. We got that app because we want to use this device, is now taking photographs of you through your home through its camera. It's also mapping your home. Here's an example. This is from an actual Roomba vacuum cleaner. It's trying to label different things inside your home. Here's your ceiling fan. Here's your light switch. Why is the vacuum cleaner doing this? When we crawl down into the weeds of the privacy and all that user agreement that nobody reads, is they say this is to advance artificial intelligence technology. But again, we are helping that process by becoming the test bed of that subject. We're going to talk later about ChatGPT and how when you put your personal information out there, it becomes, public for the whole world to see. And now in the same scenario here, you're putting these photographs of your home, or possibly, again, you sitting on the toilet, for the whole world to see. And that's why it showed up on places like Facebook and different social media areas. So if you've been on a rock for a while and you have no idea what I'm talking about, let's kind of look at the Fitbit, these wearable type devices, these watches, whether it be an Apple, Garmin, they all kind of work the same. So this is some good information that we can get off of these in a case possibly. So let's see right in the all-day activity. Here's the steps. And see if you were active, you were not active that particular day. Your heart rate, your heart was beating faster. The whole sleep rate. We just watched the Murdoch trial happen. If he was supposed to be asleep for 45 minutes on the couch, well, if he had a wearable device, we could approve or disprove he was actually asleep or not. Here's your GPS location in real time, anywhere you are. I can also see where you've been. It's a passive where I can go back 2-3 days ago and find out what you did as well. Exercise tracker, there's that heart rhythm data we talked about earlier with the pacemaker. That is very, very accurate, especially when it comes down to looking at certain things. In family law, I can tell you the moment you broke up in your relationship. It's that sensitive. I can tell you when you get startled, when you get scared. There's another case we were part of, not my words, hers. This is the case where this young lady was running through a park and she stopped to use the restroom. She's trained for a marathon, just something she always did, but she stopped in the restroom and there was a guy hiding inside the restroom stall that wants to sexually assault her. Fortunately, she was a runner. She had a Garmin wristwatch on, but it actually recorded the whole attack. We were able to use this data as evidence in this type of case. Horrible, horrible stuff. But let's see how this relates to family law or domestic abuse. So can anybody tell me what this is? Oh, yes, you're right. It's a period tracker. Why are we worried about period trackers now? Well, this is a form of reproductive abuse. So this is a different conversation depending on the topic we're talking about. So domestic violence, domestic abuse is one topic. When it relates to family law, why would we care about these type of period type trackers? Well, the reason why and the trends that we're seeing is, and whether you know it or not, if you have an app like this on your device, when you go take a shower, you go to sleep, or you leave your phone, open for somebody to get access to it, they can send and basically share the information. It's shareable to their phone. It's not like almost like a share request type thing. There's no other thing they have to do that. No create an account or get access to your account, pay a password, nothing. But what they're doing and what we're seeing this trend is, it's for the whole ovulation cycle. The reason why is because there are states out there that if you are pregnant, you're not even allowed to file for divorce, or you cannot finalize your divorce if you're pregnant or while you're pregnant. So this is a way for them to force them to stay inside the home, keep them in a situation they don't want to be in. So again, these ovulation type period tracking apps are now becoming important. We're seeing more and more of this in cases. Another thing we see, who's been sleeping in your bed? How many of these cases, how many people have ever subpoenaed, sleep number or sleep IQ beds to get the sleep data from that? I can tell you the weight of the person. I can tell you the activity that's happening inside the bed. A lot of these programs, a lot of these beds have microphones to detect snoring. They also detect conversations if you know the questions to ask. You need that legal process to them to find out. Well, if your client doesn't have a sleep number bed, don't worry. We have Amazon, because this little device right here on Amazon is about $40. It goes between two regular traditional mattresses and records the same exact data. So we're seeing more and more of this stuff come up in the family law. Just like airline manifest. Who's sitting next to you on the plane when you go on that business trip? We now can pull that into data for these different type of cases. This is known as ESI, or electronically stored information. This is nothing new. This was legally defined in 2006. And what this is all these cool little buzzwords we hear. metadata, EXIF data, all this kind of cool digital data, Amazon Alexas, all these different things, they're coming into play. This is this technology related information that we need in our cases. When you watch TV and you see these guys and gals banging away at keyboards, these bits and bytes flashing across the screen, that's impressive. They're hacking the whole world in 45 minutes. I can tell you, for the most part, that is Hollywood. That is very, very hard to do and very nearly impossible to do. I work with the most brilliant people in the world at the FBI, and even they will tell you, with the security levels we have today, the encryption levels we have today, it's very difficult to hack a computer, but it's very easy to hack a person. Reason why is because we're all creatures of habit. You park in the same parking space every day, same grocery store, same coffee shop, same bank. We do the same things over and over again. And as I mentioned earlier, we came from an amazing generation that all this technology at our fingertips. But one thing we found out is because we've had access to so much technology, a lot of people have a false sense of security that they think they understand how technology works. I'll give you an example. So hopefully after this webinar, not during, but after this webinar, your Wi-Fi just craps out, goes out. You're like, oh my, I need to finish work. I had some Wi-Fi. You call the cable company. They're like, nah, we're 2-3 weeks out. So you're like, okay, well, years past, I've gone to Best Buy or my electronics store and I've bought my own Wi-Fi router, a little Linksys, little Cisco, whatever. So you go to the store and you buy one of those, you bring it home. You plug it into the internet, you open up a browser and you type in 192.168.1.1. The login is admin and the password is password or it's blank. I'm sure it sounds familiar to most of you. Well, now you set up your whole network, computers, passwords, and stuff like that. Well, the book that comes with that thing that nobody ever reads, and we know that nobody ever reads that, is because I can sit in your driveway and type in 192.168.1.1, admin and password, and get access to your whole network. Think about a divorce case. Think about an abuse case. Think about someone trying to get access to their home. I know the passwords. I know what kind of Wi-Fi router you may have. I may know if it's locked or unlocked. What's to prevent me from sitting in a nearby location and getting access to your Ring doorbell or video footage from like a security system inside your home? We have to be diligent and change these passwords in order to keep ourselves safe. And that's what the bad guys kind of rely on or prey on for to get access to us. So how can I get access to you? How can I get access to your clients? And how does your clients get access to one another? Well, these are known as phishing scams, and these are still probably the most popular way to get access to an individual or to a law firm or to a courthouse. In fact, right now, there's, as of last week, there's 12 more courthouses. There were 15. There's 12 courthouses in the US currently that are infected with what's called ransomware, where somebody clicked on a link in an email and they were able to shut down all the clerk's files for a hefty ransom. I think the highest one I saw was like $2.3 million. Most of us don't have that in our budget to be able to pay that. So this is how it works. And they're becoming very, very sophisticated. So example on the left-hand side here. This is the email that I received from Chase Bank. Hey, Steve, your account's been suspended due to recent activities. Kindly revalidate your details. Click here, click the green button. I'm like, well, that's funny because I don't have a Chase account. So I knew this is fictitious. So I said, well, who sent this to me? I went up to the top of the name and says JP Chase. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, just so you know, you can make the name anything you want it to be. I can be Tracy, I can be Dennis, I can be anybody I want to be when I put that name there. If you ever get an email or anything with a link in it, and they want you to click on that link, always click on the person's name. Now, don't just look up there, click on the person's name, as I did here. When I clicked on JP Chase, as you see underneath it, it says mkitchenwall@microthermics.com. Has nothing to do with Chase Bank at all. This is known as clickbait. They're trying to trick me into clicking this green button in order for them to install a remote software, a virus, a malware, ransomware, or like a spyware type program to my device. Yes, your phone, because most of us have our emails and text messages on our phone, your phones can be infected as well. We have been told that, oh, iPhone don't get a virus. Well, that's not exactly true. What that means is you can't get a virus out of the App Store. It doesn't mean that you can't get a virus on your phone, because when you click on this link, it's an executable file. In essence, you're given a permission to download to your phone or your computer. How many of you have gone out purposely, gone out to the App Store and downloaded your own antivirus, anti-malware program to your cell phone or mobile device? Most of us probably are shaking our head, no, not me. We do it for our computers and our laptops, but why not our cell phones? Our cell phones are mobile computers. These are supercomputers in the palm of our hands. But we don't take the steps to protect ourselves. Well, again, if I'm going through a divorce case and I want to install remote software to my, co-party's, device, say it's spyware, and I want to be able to activate their microphone and look at what they're doing on their phone, I send them an email. Hey, here's the papers you requested for parenting time. And it's got a hidden link in that. They click on that, and now they're installing this remote type software to their person to spy on them. We've all had those clients come to us and say, Steve, they're listening to me. They know where I am. They know where I'm at the mall. They know I'm at the park. They're tracking me. They're stalking me. But how do they know my conversations? Well, hold that thought. I'm going to show you exactly how. On the right-hand side, this is a text message I received on Mother's Day from AT&T. Click here, send mom free flowers. Well, who wouldn't want to do that? We love mom, right? Nothing's for free. All this is clickbait, trying to trick you into getting access. So what's the number one scam going around the legal community today, especially family law? Well, this one actually kind of grew popularity. It didn't start, but grew popularity out of the pandemic. And the reason why is because the pandemic forces all at home. We're all doing stuff like this on Zoom, but we're also having to send documents to the courthouse or to neighboring law firms. It's called the DocuSign scam. And the way this works is it's very, very simple. Because of COVID, because of different things today, all of our information is online. I can go to the docket. I can find case numbers. I can find representation. I can find parties' names, the judge's name. I put together an email like this from DocuSign, and I say, send it to your law firm from a different law firm in your area. Hey, here's the expert affidavit you requested in the Smith case. Here's the invoice in the Melendez case. Once you click on review documents, you're going to see some fake documents pop up. But in the background, it's actually going to be installing this remote type software to your whole network at your office. I now have the keys to your kingdom. All your client files, your whole firm, I now have access to. This is how they install ransomware to courthouses today. Because again, I send a document to the clerk. Hey, here's a DocuSign. They're just clicking on it, random stuff. They do it 15 times a day. What's the law of averages? They know one of those 15 times, it may be actually malicious. So even a DocuSign email, any email with a link in it, please double check who the sender is. Click on the person's name and make sure it's actually that person. And again, when I say they're sophisticated, they're sophisticated. I work for a great company called Our Family Wizard, but I can buy a URL and change the O to a 0. I can be Zero Family Wizard, Steve at zerofamilywizard.com. I can then send you an email like this for DocuSign. Hey, here's your certificate of attendance today. Once you click on that, I now have access to you. I'm not going to do that. So if you get one, it wasn't for me, but that's actually how it happens. So be diligent and look at that URL and make sure it's actually a legitimate URL. So let's just say that you get an email from someone, a loved one, somebody, the judge, somebody you got to open. You're like, I know what Steve said. I don't care. I have to open this email. I have to open this attachment. How can I do it? Okay, well, this is going to keep you safe. This is a good check and balance type system. So this is a program called virustotal.com. It's actually a website. Just go to virustotal.com. This pops up here. Open up in a second window, and whatever that attachment is, you can cut and paste it or drag and drop it into the search bar right here. Is then going to run that attachment against 38 known antivirus programs from around the world to let you know if it's malicious or not. I can tell you majority of the time, it's probably going to be malicious, but it's a good way for you to get to check yourself and make sure. And it's free. It doesn't cost you anything to do. So why are we here? Let's talk about some fun stuff. Let's have some good stuff here. So there's a whole terminology called cyberstalking. Well, again, we have this misconceived notion about the term stalking in general. Also, stalking is something that is very underreported because stalking is used in social norms today, social language. Are you stalking me? Are you stalking my social media? Are you stalking my Facebook? So people are reluctant to report stalking. And even though they're reluctant, still 850,000 cases per year across the country get reported. But again, we still think there has to be that physical act of following somebody or doing something, and we have to involve threats. So what you're seeing here before you is actually a group of state statutes that put together, because they all pretty much say the same exact thing. Again, this is nothing new. This first came on scene in 2008 in California, and the rest of the country adopted in about 2012. So it's been around for a while, but people still don't understand how broad this could actually be when it comes to things we see today. So what is cyberstalking? It's engaging in a course of conduct to communicate or cause to be communicated, words, images, or language by or through use of electronic mail or electronic communication directed at a specific person, causing substantial emotional distress. That's it, substantial emotional distress. So define that for me, because that's different for every single one of us. I hate spiders. You may love spiders. They cause me substantial emotional distress. So if your client can articulate to you why these text messages or why these social media posts are causing them substantial emotional distress, you may now have a parallel criminal case along with your divorce case or your dependency case, whatever kind of case you have. And why would that be important? That would be important because we now have some more tools at our fingertips. For example, a preservation letter. So if you've ever sent a subpoena to Facebook, for example, the very first thing that Facebook does, whether you know it or not, by their user agreement, again, that nobody reads, is they notify the user saying, hey, Steve just sent me a subpoena for your information. I give you two options. You can allow me to comply with the subpoena, or you can delete the information. If you delete the information, it comes off my servers in 12 days, and I'll reply to this in 14. So basically, there'll be nothing there. Well, on the criminal side, a criminal tool that we have is called a preservation letter. The preservation letter will preserve the account as a whole and prevent them from notifying the user. So nothing can be deleted, nothing can be erased, and we have the evidence we possibly need in that case. So there may be, more legal process authority that we may need on that criminal side. We're not going to try to prosecute a criminal case, but we may be able to do that with this. A lot of these cases will involve crossing state lines, crossing county lines, crossing different jurisdictions. And that's okay, because the federal law says the same exact thing. You look there at the bottom, B, it says to cause substantial emotional distress. I don't need threats, but oftentimes that's the very first question always asked, especially by law enforcement. And I'm a law enforcement officer. Did he threaten you? Well, no, he didn't have to, just cause substantial emotional distress. So what does this look like? What does this look like in real time? Okay, well, here's some examples of how broad this can actually be that people often forget about. So the first one's kind of obvious. Sending frightening or unwanted messages to another person. Okay, well, it's not really threats, but kind of frightening, kind of scary. Okay, that's fine. What about the roller coaster effect? Baby, I love you. I'm sorry, drop charges. I'll never do that again. Or I don't want to get divorced. I want to get back together. You start sending flowers in the mail. You go on Amazon, start sending them gifts. You go send them all kinds of things through the mail. Well, a lot of these transactions start with an online store. So if you have a client receiving unwanted gifts all the time, guess what? They're being cyberstalked. They got a new boyfriend, a new girlfriend. I'm going to kick their butt. Guess what? They've now cyberstalked. Spreading rumors about an individual. My wife's the biggest piece of blah, 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 blah. You've now cyberstalked. We can use this in a very broad way if we need to in order to move these cases further. In recent times, so about 3 weeks ago now, this is something that made the rounds all through social media, made it through Good Morning America, traditional news sources, because this is pretty frightening. And they blamed it on AI, and that I don't think that's really fair. I think AI is a buzzword right now that a lot of people are blaming everything on AI, and AI is cool. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But this particular case here involved in a different process, but was blamed on AI. So for those of you who did not see this, this is basically a mother that got a phone call from her daughter, where it was her daughter's name, her daughter's phone number, and it was her daughter's voice. Mom, I've been kidnapped. And a guy gets on the phone and says, yes, I'm going to kill your daughter if you don't pay us $20,000 in the next 2 hours. Well, as a parent, what do? You look at the phone, it's your daughter's name, it's your daughter's number, it's your daughter's voice. You know your daughter's voice. Well, this is where it's really kind of a difficult conversation to have, because most parents in that situation would probably be very reactive. But all you would actually have to do to verify is get a different phone and call your daughter, or hang up and call your daughter, or simply just make another phone call, kind of like three-way them in to your daughter. It's actually going to call your daughter's phone. And the reason why I say that is because it's not AI and it's not your daughter. It's a program called spoofing. And spoofing is nothing new. I've talked about spoofing now for several years, and we see it a lot in family law cases where your client may tell you, I get these random phone calls from different people and they're text messages from different people. Well, this is how it works. This is a program that's free, and there's several programs out there. There's some that are on the websites and some that you install onto your phone, all kinds of different things. This one here is called Spoof Card. So if you see here, I can change my phone number and my name to anybody I want to be. Yes, I can become your daughter. I can also change my voice from male to female. Yes, again, become your daughter. I can install background noises like a noisy crowd, barking dogs, something else that further help mask my voice. But in that news article, it was her daughter's voice. It wasn't a computer, it wasn't nothing generated, it was her voice. How did that happen? That is AI, and that's called voice cloning. Today, what is happening to all of us, and again, remember your clients now, because I know a lot about my spouse or my ex or my whoever. If they're close to me, I know a lot about you. So how do I get a copy of your voice? Well, I mean, better yet, how many of you have your voice on your voicemail? Hey, this is Steve. Leave me a message on my phone. When we get a random phone number from somebody, what's the first thing we do? We silence it and send them a voicemail. Well, so we know who the person is. That's what we do because we get 500 calls a day. Well, that's what these bad guys are preying on. They want you to send them to voicemail. Because once you send them to voicemail and you have that lovely personal voicemail on there, hey, this is Steve, all they're doing is taking that and recording that into a program just like this. They're now going to use that other program, call your neighboring law firm, call the judge, call you as your daughter. Hey, mom, I've been kidnapped. And they're going to trick you. Every word I say that comes to my mouth will now become you in your voice. That's how scary this is. But kind of going back to family law and where we see this a lot. Again, you'll go to court, they'll come into your office. Look, I have 14 text messages and 4 phone calls from litigant B. And the other person's like, I never called them. That wasn't me. Well, how do you prove that? How do you as a litigator or whatever your role may be, how do you prove who's telling the truth in these cases? Well, it's actually pretty simple. Asking for their phone bills. This is basic metadata. Oh, ask both parties for phone bills or get it through discovery, however you need to get it. There's always going to be a date and timestamp transaction of an incoming and outgoing call. So again, if this person has 14 incoming calls from that person, but that person has no outgoing calls to this person, that's a clue because it's going to line up perfectly, same date and same time. Now, if the other person has 14 outgoing calls to a different number, but same date and same time, that's the number you want to do a legal process on, because that's going to be to a third-party spoofing company that's going to change and manipulate the data to be somebody else. But if this person has no outgoing calls at all at that date and time, you need to go back to this person's bill and go one number above those and do a legal process on that. And that's going to be to a spoofing company. We can prove these or disprove these very easily. Text messages are no different. With traditional text, you get a phone number. With iMessage, you get a data transfer point. We've all had our clients bring us these print-offs of text messages. They're all date and time stamped. Go to the data side of the phone bill, and you'll see the date and time transaction of the data. You'll very easily, again, be able to match these up. This is also, by the way, a very good argument for our family wizard, because in that program, you cannot change messages. You know what you see is what you get. So just a shameless plug there, but think about that. One other thing we have to worry about when it comes to texting and editing is what's called iOS 16. iOS 16 came out for Apple in January of this year, and it allows a new feature, allows us to be able to edit text messages. So if you've never seen how this works, it's pretty simple. It's pretty easy to do. So with this new feature, I have up to 2 minutes to fully delete a message or unsend a message that I sent you. Talking about poking the bear, I hate your guts, delete. You suck, delete. Whatever I want to do, it's just poke you all day long. to the point where they actually had to make a 16.3 update that now you get a message saying that a message has been unsent or undelivered. But I also, the more important feature here is I have 15 minutes to fully edit that message, from I hate your guts to what time you picking up Johnny from baseball, something you don't mind the courts actually reading, something nice and sweet. So how do we authenticate this? How do we prove this? Or how can we work with this? First, let's see how to do it. So this is the way it works. So you get a message, or you type a message to somebody and, oh my gosh, I misspelled something. Okay, cool. Don't worry. All you have to do is long press on that message that you just sent. On the right-hand side, this little box is going to pop up. Reply, undo, edit, copy, translate, and more. If you want to basically undo and bring it back, delete it, just hit undo. But I have 15 minutes to edit that to change it to something else. So I go in there, whatever I misspelled, I correct that, and now I'm going to get this blue check mark. I click that and it resends the new edited message. Well, this is what you have to look for now. So when your clients bring you those stacks and stacks of text messages, now it's going to say delivered, period, edited. On the right-hand side, you see there. And I have seen some where the word edit is not there. It's just a period. So as you're going through those printouts of text messages and you see the word edited or a period next to delivered, those printouts may not be any good anymore, because you actually need the phone back, the actual device back from your client, and hope they still have the message. Once you get the phone back from them, all you have to do is go to that same message and long press on it. Once you long press on the word edit, it's going to show you the original message as it was sent before it was changed and altered. So now you can see the whole conversation. We've all read those print-offs where you obviously can tell things are missing. They deleted stuff they didn't want you to see. Well, that's the same scenario here. But now you can actually see what they tried deleting, what they tried editing, simply by pressing on the word edit or on that period. But again, we think something's been deleted. How can we recover that? Well, another cool feature that came out in iOS 16, and if you're a parent, this may or may not be useful to you, I'm just saying, you can actually recover deleted text messages now on your own. You don't need an expert like me. All you have to do is go to the iMessage or the message part of their phone. In the top left-hand corner is a button that says edit. When you click on edit, all the way to the bottom, it says show recently deleted messages. What it's going to do is it's going to show you for 40 days worth of recently deleted text messages. Now, if your client is savvy or if your kid's savvy, yes, they can delete from here as well. But I can tell you, in me doing this literally around the country, very, very, very few people, probably less than 1% of people know this actually exists, that they can actually do this, that this feature's even here. So just know that if there's something you want to try to recover, it's worth a shot. Go back, you hit the word edit, go down to recently deleted. Here's all the deleted text messages they tried hiding from you. Now you get the whole story. Because we know our clients sometimes don't tell us the whole story. We've all seen this video, right?
Mr. Ponton, I believe you have a filter turned on in the video settings. You might want to take a look.
Can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here. She's trying to, but I'm prepared to go forward with it. I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
I love the fact that he actually had to qualify that he was not a cat. I mean, that's just, but this is a video we all watched, we all laughed at. This got through the pandemic. I've actually met both the attorney and the litigator in this, and their biggest regret for this whole video was the fact that they did not monetize it. They said they could have retired 4 times over because it's got so many views and so many things are out there. But why are we talking about this, about family law or just law in general? Well, it is funny, it's cute, but the scary side of this as well. This is called filter technology. So if you noticed during this video, every time the litigator's eyes blinked, the cat blinked. Every time the mouth moved, the mouth moved. If he smiled, the cheeks raised. It actually became a face. Well, imagine if there was a technology out there that I could take a photograph of you and put your face on top of my face, and I can become you during a Zoom hearing or on social media or on a video, some kind of video chat. How do you qualify the person you're talking to is actually that person? Do you go back and recap? Do you go back and ask for like personal information, so security numbers and whatnot? How do you verify that? Let's watch and see what I'm talking about.
We're entering an era in which our enemies can make it look like anyone is saying anything at any point in time.
Jordan Peele created this fake video of President Obama to demonstrate how easy it is to put words in someone else's mouth.
Moving forward, we need to be more vigilant with what we trust from the internet.
Not everyone bought it, but the technology behind such frauds is rapidly improving, even as worries increase about their potential for harm. This is your Bloomberg Quick Take on deepfakes. Deepfakes, or realistic-looking fake videos and audio, gained popularity as a means of adding famous actresses into porn scenes. Despite bans on major websites, they remain easy to make and find. They're named for the deep learning artificial intelligence algorithms that make them possible. Input real audio or video of a specific person, the more the better, and the software tries to recognize patterns in speech and movement. Introduce a new element like someone else's face or voice, and a deepfake is born.
It's actually extremely easy to make one of these things. There were just some supposed, breakthroughs from academic researchers who work with this particular kind of machine learning in the past few weeks, which would drastically reduce the amount of video you need actually to create one of these.
Programs like FakeApp, the most popular and widely...
All right, so we'll stop it there because we won't have time to do the whole video, but that kind of gives you an idea of what we're talking about and how harmful this really actually can be. And again, I don't know the answer behind how we actually, qualify this, but it's something that a conversation has to be had. And the reason why it has to be had is because the video you just watched is actually 5 years old. I told you earlier, the technology changes by the day. If this video continued to tell you it takes dozens of hours, 5 years ago, it took dozens of hours to make one of those videos. But today I can do it in real time. I literally can take a photograph of you, and within a minute, I can actually become you during that Zoom hearing, that video chat, or whatever we're actually doing. So some of you may or may not be aware, but our friend the Wizards fixing to come out with voice and video, where you now can actually record the FaceTime with the individual or the phone calls and have the transcript, written for parenting time, different things like that. Well, I can tell you through this right here, our program, we made sure that, the person on the phone is actually the person. We actually have different ways to be able to detect settings like this. But we have to be aware of this moving forward because it's going to keep constantly changing. And the reason why it's changing is because we have this wonderful ChatGPT. How many of you have met Sophie before? Who's Sophie? Well, it's not just Sophie. You can create anybody you want to create. This is your personal assistant. This is your, butler. This is whoever you want it to be. They'll talk to you. They'll read you the morning news. They'll read you your ChatGPT stuff. You tell Chat to write you a book or read me a story. Sophie's going to do that. But you can create your own person as you move through this. Well, when it comes to chat, I get a lot of questions about the legality behind this and whether we can use it or not as practitioners. So we're going to talk about some of the things we're actually seeing. So whether you know it or not, and chat is amazing. I'm not here to put down chat. Chat's amazing in a way that it does some really cool things. I think it's more scary than it is amazing, but that's just a different conversation. But it is cool how it does certain things, and it has its place somewhere, but there's no parameters on that. Well, the biggest problem we see, the biggest hurdles we see, especially with legal practitioners or mental health professionals getting in trouble with this, is the fact that they don't realize that chat will hallucinate. And what I mean by that is it will actually make up stuff. So if it doesn't know the answer, it's going to make it up, including your citations in your case law. There's actually 2 attorneys right now. There's one in New York, and there's actually, I was in Louisiana last week, 2 in Louisiana, I think 1 or 2 in New York. They're being sanctioned by the bar. They're in jeopardy of losing their bar card because they use ChatGPT to do a brief or a motion. There's 2 judges now, one in New York and one in Texas, that actually makes you sign an affidavit that says that I did not use artificial intelligence to draft any of my legal documents. When you present evidence to the court, you're presenting it as a true statement. We've seen pro se litigants use this because, again, it's cool. Why wouldn't you? I'm not a lawyer. I don't hire a lawyer. I have ChatGPT do my whole case. But again, those citations are made up. That case law is made up. The way this works is ChatGPT read the whole internet by December of 2021. And it's designed never to read the internet again. From December 2021 going forward, it only learns off of human interaction, us. So that's where these hallucinations actually come from. Because again, it's like Wikipedia. I can write my own Wikipedia about whatever topic I want to. Doesn't mean it's true, but I can write that. So this human interaction piece is causing a lot of hiccups through this. Another conversation we have with chat is privacy. So we've had professionals out there who says, I need a motion written or a brief written about Stephen Bradley, date of birth, blah, 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 social security number, blah, blah, blah. Here's all his personal information. Write me this thing. Well, now by doing that, you just gave the whole world my personal information. You put all this information out there. Chat tells you, see, chat is not a search engine. People think it's like Google. Chat is a chat. It's just that you are literally interacting with this machine or this artificial intelligence. So if you put in HIPAA violations, medical information, trying to write a report about a case, a mental health case, or a custody evaluation, or whatever it may be, you just now gave the whole world that information. There's actually a lawsuit with Samsung where one of their coders put proprietary information code into ChatGPT to help further write their code. Now the whole world knows their proprietary code and how Samsung these products work. This is the problems we're seeing. We're also seeing a lot of these different articles come out. This one here is from the Harvard Law Review, talking about the implications of chat in the legal world, the legal society. This is a really cool one that came out from the Florida bar. So you don't have to be a member. It's actually just go on their website and you can pull this down. This is from a Fourth Appellate Court Judge Klingensmith, that he talked about chat in the implications from the judiciary point of view, from the judge. This is what we're going to talk about from the bench. And that's how we get this evidence into trial and how to get different things, the admission of different things. So it's a pretty cool article. So when I Google, how do I stalk my partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, dog, it doesn't matter. This is one of the very first programs that pops up. And the reason why we talk about this, we talked about this for a while, but there's a new way now that's going around the internet telling people how to do this remotely without being near the person or have possession of the person's phone. It's called Spyware. And basically what this does, for a whopping $7, it allows me to clone your cell phone. Anything that you do on your phone, I get an exact copy of, I get to see. So when I log into my programs, I put this on Tracy's phone. So I log in, I want to see what Tracy's doing. She's looking at schnauzers. I can tell you what she's doing. But for example purposes, I see her contacts. Yes, Tracy, I see contacts. I see who she's calling. I see her websites. But that's not that harmful. On the left-hand side, all kinds of cool doors I can go behind that may be harmful, like her locations in real time, anywhere in the world that she is. If we're in the home together, so it's a domestic abuse situation, today I'm going to allow her to go to work. She can go from our house to your house and back, nowhere else. If she goes where she's not supposed to be, it's going to notify me you're not where you're supposed to be, and that's when abuse and lethality escalates. Here's all your text messages. I don't get the phone number, I get the actual message. Here's all your calendar events. I see you're meeting with your attorney, the guardian ad litem, law enforcement possibly, new boyfriend, new girlfriend. Hey, I can be there too because I see it's on your calendar. Here's all your photographs and videos. Here's all your social media, including that elusive Snapchat that supposedly deletes in 10 seconds. Yeah, well, that thought. Here's all your browser history. I see you looking for a new job, a new apartment, a new car. Oh my gosh, she's fixing to leave me. Again, abuse escalates and goes up. Here's all your email communication. I see you email and communicating with your attorney. I don't have to wait for discovery. I can read it in real time as it comes through. With this program, the same $7 program, I can activate your microphone on your phone and listen to your surroundings. When you're having that private, confidential conversation with your client, how do you know nobody's listening to that? Or turn the camera on and see your surroundings. This is what they're designed to do. This is why they're purposely trying to install this on their co-parties or co-parents' phone in order to listen. Think about the devices go between homes. These old iPads and old phones that the kids are watching YouTube on and playing video games on. What's to prevent a parent from putting this program on one of those devices? And now every time Johnny goes to mom's house or dad's house, mom or dad is spying on mom or dad. You can actually see what they're actually doing inside the residence, or listen, or whatever you want to do with it. So again, this is nothing new. This has been a program that's been out for a little while, but talked about for a little while now. But there's one thing that's now become very harmful to all of us when it comes to spyware. So every time that the industry comes up the way to harm us, every time these companies come up with to harm us, the industry comes up with a way to protect us. So you might hear the term jailbreaking. So now like iPhone, for example, if I want to install a program like this to an iPhone, I have to jailbreak that phone in order to install it on the phone. I can still install it in the cloud. You'll never know it's there. But if I want to install it in the actual physical device, I'm going to have to jailbreak that phone or get past the internal security of that phone. Well, now there's a remote way to do that, and they'll basically jailbreak a phone for you remotely. There's a video on YouTube, and as of last week, it had like 4.2 million views. The scary part about the video is if you watch the video through its entirety, they give you a free copy of this program. That means 4.2 million people potentially have a free copy of this program and know exactly how to remotely install it on somebody's phone. My spouse, my ex, whoever it may be. And this is the way it works. So that spoof program I showed you earlier, change your phone number and stuff like that, your voice. What I do is I go in there, I put in Verizon Wireless or whoever your carrier is, and then the toll-free number. I'll call you as a tech. Hey, this is Steve from Verizon. We've had this security breach. We hear about things in the media all the time, but now we have one too, unfortunately. And what we want you to do is do a browser reset on your phone in order to keep yourself safe. And if you don't have time to do that, that's okay. We're going to turn off your phone. We're going to mail you a new refurbished phone tomorrow, if that's okay with you, or we can spend a few minutes to do it right now. Most people are going to say, oh no, I'm not going to be without my phone for 2 days. Let's do it right now. And what he does, he tells you, okay, open up a browser. And it's going to be www.Verizon Wireless, whatever made up URL they're going to give you. Once you put that in there to do a browser reset, what you just actually done by putting in this website they give you, you've now given them remote desktop access to your device, your phone as well. Now in the background, they're actually jailbreaking your phone and installing this program without you knowing. It costs an additional $40 to have them do it for you, or they teach you step-by-step in the video on how to do it yourself. So now we're seeing there's more and more that's come up into play. People, again, they listen to me, they know where I am, they go to the park. This is how it's happening. How can we get this off somebody's phone? Well, this is a hard conversation, but it's actually become very easy because of this program here. Yesteryear was very hard. This is one of those antivirus, anti-malware programs we talked about earlier. I said it's a good idea to install one. Install the best one that works for you. This is the one that I install, that I use, because they have a lot of great features and it's free. They will try to sell you or upsell you a browser security something. You don't need to buy anything from this company. They're a free company and it works good. And I said earlier, nothing's for free. I know that, but I can tell you this is actually a good free program. And the reason why it's truly free with no hidden agenda is because it's actually made by good hackers that's trying to compete with bad hackers. So we kind of benefit from the war. But anyway, so you go to the Play Store, App Store. Avast One is all their tools. If you download Avast, it actually is the only program out there today that will scan your phone for spyware and also will remove it from your phone. Because before you'd have to basically do a factory reset, wipe your phone, get a new cloud, a new email address. It was very, very difficult to do. Now you can do this from the comfort of your office, or they can do it from the comfort of their own homes to see if somebody is listening to you or spying on them. Again, remember, it's supposed to be a mental health crisis. She's crazy. There's no way possibly I'm doing that. Well, yes, there is, and this is how you do it, because it costs $7. Last thing we're going to talk about here, because I'm about to get the hook, is trackers, GPS type trackers. So again, our clients told us they're following us, they're stalking us, they know where I am all the time. Okay, let's talk about trackers. Well, years past, we had what's called GPS, these actual satellites all over the sky. And some cases they're still used, but most people that Google, how do I stalk my partner? They don't use traditional GPS or active GPS. And the reason why is because if I find that GPS tracking unit, within a matter of minutes, I can tell you who it belongs to, because it's actually transmitting that signal somewhere. So the IP information, the financial data, I get all the information from that unit. Most people that use GPS still use a passive system. We'll put a tracker on your car, and they'll go back like 4 o'clock in the morning to retrieve the tracker or take the SD card out, take it home to be able to see what you did all day. Well, I don't want to do that. It's kind of a pain in the butt. I want to do this in real time. How can I do that? Well, that's where we see this shift in what's called crowdsourcing technologies, Apple AirTags, tiles. This does not work off a satellite in the sky. This works off of the crowd, my phone and your phone and his and hers and theirs. Works off of a Bluetooth in different signals like that. So once these cams started coming out, we start seeing all kinds of articles where people were finding these trackers inside their vehicles, inside their purse, little gas doors on their cars, a number of things. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. These type of trackers are not the #1 trackers being used in family law today at all. And the reason why is if I put an Apple AirTag into Tracy's purse and she finds an AirTag in there, she knows somebody's tracking her. So I do that to my spouse or whoever, I know I'm being tracked. So what's the #1 way to do that today? AirPods. AirPods are often forgot about. I bought my wife a pair of AirPods for her birthday. I bought them for the kids for Christmas or their birthday. I'm now able to track your locations based on a set of headphones. If I drop my headphones in your purse, babe, I've been looking everywhere for those. I had no idea where they were. How inconspicuous is a set of headphones? They work just like an Apple AirTag. So we're seeing more and more cases involving AirPods than we are AirTags when it comes to family law. But Apple did come up with anti-stalking features that let you basically notifies you that these AirTags are near you. Kind of looks something like this. But we don't want to rely on technology like this in order to be notified. Most people don't realize in your app store, there are several apps you can proactively download yourself. You can actually will detect a certain area, 25-foot radius around you, let you know if there's a tracker nearby. This one here is made for Android to find Apple AirTags. But this is one that I use. It's the Tile app. I don't own a Tile. It's absolutely free. Go to the App Store and download the Tile app to your phone. Inside the settings is a scan and secure feature. It will scan a 25-foot radius around you to let you know if there's a hidden device nearby. We all talk about the Airbnbs and the hotels with hidden cameras and hidden devices. Why not protect yourself? It's a good way to do so. This is the last one we're going to talk about real quick. And this is the reason I like this is because of DV survivors and victims. Most DV survivors and victims are given older phones, like prepaid donated phones, like a center or something like that. They're like iPhone 4s and 5s and 6s. The way this works is apps in your app store only support newer devices. This particular program here has 2 versions, one for older devices and one for newer devices, specifically for DV survivors. So it's a really good program in that aspect of it. All in all, get comfortable with technology. We blew through an hour very quickly, and there's so much we did not talk about. So get comfortable with technology. You're gonna hear some things that sound really off the wall. If your client's concerned, please be concerned. Ask why. I'm gonna make sure everybody gets a copy of this as well. I'll make sure Tracy gets this. This is a tip sheet that I put together to kind of goes over some tips that you can sit down with your clients and discuss. A lot of things we talked about here today, passwords and things like that to keep them safe. Finally, this is my personal information here, my cell phone, my email address. Offering the Wizard is an amazing company that cares not only about an amazing product, but also about educating all of you. So if you have any questions about technology or about Our Friendly Wizard, please let me know. OFW combats a lot of things we talked about here today, and that's why I enjoy working with them, because it keeps your clients and keeps you safe. Do we have any questions? I know I kind of went over. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the chat real quick. Or Trace, do we have
Let
any?
me stop the recording first. So thank everybody for tuning in today, whether you are joining us live or you are watching this as a recording. We really appreciate it. And you can check out more information and see about our future events at amicableddivorcenetwork.com. Thank you.